Most people think about what they eat during the day for their health. The breakfast that starts the metabolism, the lunch that sustains the energy, the dinner that closes the nutritional day. But there is a window of dietary opportunity that most people with osteoarthritis have never been specifically guided to take advantage of. A window at the science of circadian biology, sleep physiology, and joint inflammation has increasingly identified as one of the highest leverage nutritional moments of the entire 24-hour cycle. That window is the hour before bed. And the question I am going to answer today is specific. Which fruits, consumed in the hour before sleep, provide the most meaningful anti-inflammatory and joint protective benefit for adults living with osteoarthritis, and why, at the biological level, does the timing of these fruits matter as much as the fruits themselves? This is not a general list of healthy fruits. There are hundreds of those. This is a specific, mechanistically grounded guide to the fruits whose bioactive compounds have the most directly relevant anti-inflammatory effects for osteoarthritis, whose specific timing before bed amplifies those effects through the circadian biology of sleep and overnight repair, and whose combinations create the most synergistic nutritional environment that arthritic joints can work with during the most metabolically active period of joint tissue maintenance, the overnight hours. Before we go any further, subscribe to this channel right now if you want evidence-based guidance specifically created for adults managing osteoarthritis and joint health. We create this content every week because you deserve real science explained clearly. Hit subscribe. Let us start with why the hour before bed is the specific window that matters, because understanding the biology of overnight joint health is what makes the fruit timing strategy make scientific sense rather than nutritional folklore. During sleep, specifically during the deep, slow-wave sleep stages that dominate the first half of the night, the pituitary gland releases growth hormone in its largest single daily pulse. Growth hormone is the primary anabolic signal for connective tissue repair. It stimulates chondrocyte activity, promotes collagen synthesis, supports the rebuilding of the extracellular matrix that gives cartilage its mechanical properties, and drives the anti-inflammatory resolution processes that reduce the inflammatory load the joint accumulated during the day's activity. The overnight period of adequate deep sleep is, in the most literal biological sense, the primary daily repair window for arthritic joint tissue. This repair window has specific nutritional requirements. The collagen synthesis that growth hormone stimulates requires vitamin C as an essential cofactor. Without adequate vitamin C, the hydroxylation of proline and lysine residues in the collagen triple helix cannot occur, and collagen production is impaired regardless of how much protein is available as substrate. And the inflammatory load that the joint enters the overnight period with directly determines how much of the overnight repair window is spent fighting inflammation versus actually repairing damaged tissue. Consuming anti-inflammatory compounds immediately before sleep positions them to reduce this inflammatory burden during the overnight period, allowing the repair processes to operate in the most favorable biochemical environment. This is the biological rationale for why the specific fruits we are about to discuss are most powerfully effective when consumed before bed rather than at any other time of day. They are anti-inflammatory at the time when that anti-inflammation is most directly supportive of the repair processes that arthritic joints are simultaneously performing. The first fruit to eat before bed for osteoarthritis relief is tart cherries, and tart cherries earn the first position because they are the fruit with the most directly documented evidence for osteoarthritis-specific benefit, and because their mechanism of action is uniquely well suited to the overnight anti-inflammatory context. Tart cherries, Montmorency cherries being the most studied variety, contain the highest concentration of anthocyanins of any commonly available fruit. Anthocyanins are polyphenol compounds whose anti-inflammatory mechanism involves direct inhibition of both cyclooxygenase 1 and cyclooxygenase 2, the same enzymes that NSAID medications inhibit, and suppression of NF-κB signaling, the same transcription factor master switch that curcumin blocks. Research published in the Journal of Functional Foods found that 2 servings of tart cherry juice daily in patients with inflammatory arthritis produced significant reductions in inflammatory biomarkers, including C-reactive protein and interleukin-6 over a 2-week period. A study published in the journal Osteoarthritis and Cartilage found that tart cherry concentrate reduced pain scores and markers of oxidative stress in patients with knee osteoarthritis. Research published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that consuming tart cherry juice twice daily increased melatonin availability and significantly improved sleep duration and quality in older adults. Melatonin, the sleep-regulating hormone that tart cherries provide in bioavailable dietary form, has independent and well-documented anti-inflammatory effects. Research has documented that melatonin reduces the production of inflammatory cytokines in synovial tissue and cartilage through its actions on NF-κB and on the NLRP3 inflammasome, producing an anti-inflammatory effect that operates specifically in joint tissue during the overnight period, when melatonin levels are highest. The practical before-bed protocol: 240 milliliters, 8 ounces of unsweetened tart cherry juice, or 2 tablespoons of tart cherry concentrate, providing an equivalent anthocyanin dose. Consume 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Unsweetened is essential. Added sugar activates the same NLRP3 inflammasome that the anthocyanins are suppressing. The second fruit to eat before bed for osteoarthritis relief is kiwi fruit, secured by 2 distinct mechanisms uniquely well suited to this timing. The first mechanism is its exceptional vitamin C content. Kiwi fruit contains more vitamin C per gram than oranges, approximately 60 to 90 milligrams per medium kiwi fruit. The vitamin C in kiwi fruit provides the collagen synthesis cofactor that the overnight growth hormone-driven cartilage repair window requires. Adequate vitamin C availability at the time of peak growth hormone release and peak collagen synthesis activity directly maximizes the capacity of the joint's chondrocytes to produce new cartilage matrix during the most productive repair period of the day. Research published in Nutrients documented that regular kiwi fruit consumption significantly improved collagen synthesis markers and antioxidant status in adults over 50. The second mechanism is kiwi fruit's sleep-promoting effect, mediated through the serotonin precursors and folate in kiwi fruit that support the serotonin to melatonin conversion pathway in the brainstem. Research published in the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consuming 2 kiwi fruits 1 hour before bedtime significantly reduced the time taken to fall asleep, increased total sleep time, and improved sleep efficiency in adults with self-reported sleep disturbances. For adults with osteoarthritis, in whom pain-related sleep disruption is both extremely common and directly linked to next-day pain amplification through central sensitization, kiwi fruit's sleep-promoting effects are as clinically relevant as its anti-inflammatory and collagen-supportive mechanisms. The practical before-bed protocol: to medium kiwi fruits, consume 30 to 60 minutes before bed. The skin of kiwi fruit is edible and contains 3 times the vitamin C concentration of the flesh for adults who are comfortable consuming kiwi fruit with the skin. This maximizes the vitamin C delivery per fruit. The third fruit to eat before bed for osteoarthritis relief is pineapple, specifically for its bromelain content, a proteolytic enzyme mixture unique among commonly consumed fruits for its documented anti-inflammatory and analgesic effects that are distinct from and complementary to the polyphenol mechanisms of tart cherry and kiwi fruit. Bromelain directly degrades the fibrinous proteins that accumulate in inflamed joint tissue, modulates prostaglandin production through a mechanism that does not involve direct cyclooxygenase inhibition, making it complementary to the COX-inhibiting anthocyanins of tart cherries, and reduces the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, including interleukin-1 beta and tumor necrosis factor alpha, through its effects on macrophage activation. Research published in the journal Phytomedicine found that bromelain supplementation produced significant reductions in knee pain and stiffness in patients with osteoarthritis, with efficacy comparable to diclofenac at equivalent doses. A systematic review published in the journal Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine found that bromelain produced significant improvements in osteoarthritis symptoms across multiple clinical trials. Before we continue with the remaining fruits, here is your pause. Have you tried tart cherry juice before bed specifically for your osteoarthritis symptoms? Drop a comment below right now and tell us your experience, whether you noticed any difference in overnight pain or morning stiffness, and which other fruits in your current diet you think might be providing anti-inflammatory benefit. We read every comment, and your experience shapes the content we create for this community. The fourth fruit to eat before bed for osteoarthritis relief is pomegranate, reflecting one of the most specifically osteoarthritis relevant anti-inflammatory mechanisms of any fruit in the research literature. Pomegranate is extraordinarily rich in L-agitannins, a class of polyphenols metabolized by gut bacteria into urolithin, specifically urolithin, which has been shown in multiple studies to reduce cartilage degradation, inhibit matrix metalloproteinase activity, and suppress the inflammatory cytokine production in chondrocytes and synovial cells that drives osteoarthritis progression. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry found that urolithin significantly inhibited the production of interleukin-1 beta-stimulated matrix metalloproteinases in human chondrocytes, directly protecting the cartilage matrix from the degrading enzymes that osteoarthritis activates. Research published in the journal Inflammation Research found that pomegranate extract significantly reduced NF-κB activation and interleukin-1 beta production in human articular chondrocytes subjected to inflammatory stress. The practical before-bed protocol: 100 to 150 milliliters of unsweetened pomegranate juice or half a medium pomegranate consumed fresh, 30 to 60 minutes before bed. The fifth fruit to eat before bed for osteoarthritis relief is blueberries, the fruit with the broadest spectrum of anthocyanin and polyphenol diversity of any commonly consumed berry. Blueberries contain not only anthocyanins but pterostilbena, a stilbena compound, with superior bioavailability compared to resveratrol, alongside quercetin, chlorogenic acid, and a range of other polyphenols that collectively produce a broader spectrum of NF-κB suppression and antioxidant activity than any single polyphenol class provides alone. Research published in the Journal of Nutrition found that regular blueberry consumption significantly reduced circulating levels of interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha in older adults, the same cytokines that directly damage chondrocytes and degrade cartilage matrix in arthritic joints. A randomized crossover study published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics found that daily blueberry consumption over 6 weeks significantly reduced inflammatory biomarkers, oxidative stress markers, and muscle damage markers in healthy older adults, with effects most pronounced in adults with the highest baseline inflammatory burden. The practical before-bed protocol: approximately 150 grams, about 1 cup of fresh or frozen blueberries. Frozen blueberries are nutritionally equivalent to fresh anthocyanins are preserved by freezing. The gut microbiome dimension of the before-bed fruit protocol deserves specific elaboration because several of the fruits we have described produce their most important osteoarthritis-relevant benefits through the gut microbiome that metabolizes their bioactive compounds into the secondary metabolites that reach the joint. Pomegranate's urolithin production depends on the individual's gut microbiome composition. Adults with abundant urolithin-producing bacteria convert dietary L-agitannins to urolithin A efficiently. Adults with depleted urolithin-producing bacteria, which includes a significant proportion of older adults whose microbiome diversity has declined with age, may consume the same pomegranate and produce significantly less urolithin. This is a reason to ensure that the fermented foods and probiotic fiber components of the anti-inflammatory dietary pattern we have established across this series are also present, because supporting the gut microbiome diversity that enables efficient urolithin production maximizes pomegranate's specific cartilage protective benefit. 2 additional fruits deserve mention as strong candidates for rotation with the 5-fruit protocol. Strawberries contain both L-agitannins that produce urolithin through the same pathway as pomegranate, and fistin, a flavonoid, with documented senolytic effects that clears senescent cells, the dysfunctional aging cells that accumulate in arthritic joint tissue, and produce the inflammatory secretome that drives sustained joint inflammation. A clinical trial published in the journal Nutrients found that strawberry supplementation significantly reduced inflammatory markers and pain scores in adults with knee osteoarthritis over 12 weeks. Avocado, technically a fruit, deserves mention for its avocado-soybean unsaponifiables content, or ASU, which has been shown in multiple randomized controlled trials to stimulate cartilage repair, inhibit matrix metalloproteinases, and reduce pro-inflammatory cytokine production in chondrocytes, with a European meta-analysis finding that ASU supplementation produced significant reductions in knee osteoarthritis pain and functional disability compared to placebo. The interaction between the before-bed fruit protocol and sleep quality improvements creates a positive feedback loop that extends the anti-inflammatory benefit beyond the direct polyphenol effects. Improved sleep quality, which tart cherry melatonin and kiwi fruit serotonin precursors support, reduces the central sensitization that amplifies osteoarthritis pain, reduces the cortisol elevation and inflammatory cytokine production that chronic sleep deprivation maintains, and deepens the slow-wave sleep stages, during which growth hormone-mediated cartilage repair is most active. Better sleep leads to more repair, which leads to less inflammation, which leads to less pain, which leads to better sleep. This positive cycle is the systemic health benefit that the before-bed fruit protocol initiates. The antioxidant capacity of the complete 5-fruit protocol represents one of the most potent single-occasion antioxidant interventions available through whole food consumption. This matters in osteoarthritis specifically because oxidative stress directly activates the same inflammatory pathways we have been discussing. NF-κB is redox sensitive and is activated by oxidative stress. NLRP3 inflammasome activation is triggered by reactive oxygen species, and the mitochondrial dysfunction in aging chondrocytes is exacerbated by oxidative damage. The broad-spectrum antioxidant coverage of the combined fruit protocol addresses this oxidative dimension of osteoarthritis pathology. The complete before-bed fruit protocol for osteoarthritis relief combines all 5 fruits in a practical daily routine. The simplest implementation is a pre-bed smoothie or small fruit combination consumed 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. 8 ounces of unsweetened tart cherry juice as the liquid base, blended with half a cup of frozen blueberries, the flesh of 2 kiwi fruits, and 4 to 5 ounces of unsweetened pomegranate juice with fresh or frozen pineapple chunks as an addition or standalone component. The anthocyanin and melatonin content of the tart cherry reduces overnight joint inflammation through COX inhibition and NLRP3 suppression. The vitamin C from kiwi fruit provides the collagen synthesis cofactor for the overnight growth hormone repair window. The bromelain from pineapple reduces fibrinous joint restriction through a distinct mechanism. The L-agitannins from pomegranate provide the gut microbiome mediated urolithin that specifically protects chondrocyte cartilage matrix from matrix metalloproteinase degradation. And the anthocyanin and pterostilbena diversity of blueberries provides the broadest spectrum NF-κB suppression and antioxidant coverage of the combination. This is the science of eating for your joints at the right time. Not magic, not folklore. The specific application of circadian biology, sleep physiology, polyphenol biochemistry, and gut microbiome science to the dietary support of joint health in osteoarthritis applied in the window when that support is most needed and most effective. Start tonight. The tart cherry juice is the simplest entry point. 8 ounces, unsweetened, 30 minutes before bed. Add the blueberries tomorrow. Add the kiwi fruit the day after. Build the complete protocol 1 fruit at a time until the full routine is established, and then maintain it every night as consistently as you maintain any other aspect of your joint health management. Your joints repair most actively while you sleep. Give them the best possible nutritional environment to do that work. The timing science behind the before-bed fruit protocol connects to one of the most important and most underappreciated dimensions of osteoarthritis management: the circadian regulation of joint inflammation and cartilage metabolism, which research has documented follows a predictable daily rhythm that dietary interventions can align with for maximum effect. Chondrocyte metabolism, the production of cartilage matrix components, and the inflammatory mediators that modify them, follows a circadian clock that is regulated by the same molecular machinery, the clock and the MAL1 genes that governs circadian rhythms throughout the body. Studies examining the circadian expression of inflammatory genes in cartilage have documented that the matrix metalloproteinases responsible for cartilage degradation show peak expression during the early morning hours, corresponding to the morning stiffness that is the most characteristic clinical feature of osteoarthritis. The anti-inflammatory genes and cartilage matrix synthesis genes show inverse patterns highest during the overnight and evening hours, when the anabolic repair window we have described is most active. This circadian gene expression pattern has a profound practical implication. The most damaging inflammatory processes in arthritic cartilage are most active during the early morning hours, and the most productive repair processes are most active during the overnight period. An anti-inflammatory nutritional intervention time to operate during the overnight period, as the before-bed fruit protocol is specifically designed to do, is working with the circadian biology of joint tissue rather than against it or independently of it. The collagen and connective tissue synthesis dimension of the overnight repair window extends beyond the joint to the tendons, ligaments, and periarticular soft tissues that are equally affected by the inflammatory environment of osteoarthritis and equally in need of the nutritional support that the before-bed fruit protocol provides. Tendon collagen synthesis, which occurs primarily during rest and is stimulated by the overnight growth hormone pulse, requires the same vitamin C cofactor that cartilage collagen synthesis requires. The anti-inflammatory environment created by the anthocyanins, urolithins, and bromelain of the fruit protocol reduces the inflammatory impairment of tendon and ligament tissue alongside its effects on cartilage, creating a more complete periarticular anti-inflammatory effect than any intervention focused exclusively on the joint itself. For adults who take collagen peptide supplements, as we recommended in our arthritis bedtime video, the timing of collagen peptide consumption before bed alongside the fruit protocol creates a particularly synergistic combination The collagen peptides provide the glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline substrate that the chondrocytes and tendon cells need for matrix synthesis, while the kiwi fruit vitamin C provides the cofactor that converts those amino acid substrates into functional collagen triple helix structure. And the anti-inflammatory polyphenols of the complete fruit protocol create the low inflammation environment in which the growth hormone stimulated synthesis is most productive. This is the integrated picture of the before-bed nutritional protocol for osteoarthritis, collagen peptides providing the building materials, vitamin C from kiwi fruit providing the construction cofactor, growth hormone from deep sleep providing the anabolic signal, and the combined anti-inflammatory polyphenols of tart cherry, blueberry, pomegranate, and pineapple reducing the inflammatory burden against which the construction process must work. The cost dimension of the 5-fruit before-bed protocol is worth addressing honestly because one of the most common barriers to dietary intervention in chronic disease management is the perception that evidence-based nutrition is expensive. The 5 fruits we have described are available in forms that are highly cost-effective for daily use. Frozen blueberries cost a fraction of fresh berries and are nutritionally equivalent. Tart cherry concentrate is more economical per anthocyanin dose than tart cherry juice, and has an indefinite shelf life once opened if refrigerated. Kiwi fruit is one of the most nutritionally dense fruits per dollar in most retail markets. Pineapple consumed as fresh chunks or canned in water, not syrup, provides bromelain at minimal cost. And pomegranate juice in 4 to 5 ounce daily doses extends a bottle across multiple days at a daily cost that most adults find manageable. The total cost of the complete 5-fruit before-bed protocol implemented with the most cost-effective forms of each fruit is substantially less per day than any pharmaceutical arthritis treatment and considerably less than most dietary supplement programs for arthritis. And unlike supplement programs, it provides the full food matrix, the fiber, the secondary metabolites, the gut microbiome substrates, and the synergistic compound interactions that isolated supplements cannot replicate. The before-bed fruit protocol is, in this sense, the most affordable component of the complete osteoarthritis management program we have built across this series. It requires no prescription, no physician visit, no insurance coverage, and no special preparation beyond a blender and a refrigerator. It requires only the knowledge of which fruits to use, the understanding of why the timing matters, and the habit of implementing it consistently in the 30 minutes before sleep. You now have the knowledge. You understand the timing. The habit is yours to build starting tonight. The evidence for each of the 5 fruits we have described represents the current state of the clinical research, and it is worth acknowledging the different levels of evidence that support each fruit's inclusion in this protocol, because intellectual honesty about the strength of the science is what distinguishes evidence-based nutrition guidance from the kind of supplement marketing that we have consistently distinguished this channel from. Tart cherries have the strongest and most directly osteoarthritis-specific evidence of the 5, with multiple controlled trials, a meta-analysis confirming their anti-inflammatory effects, documented reductions in osteoarthritis-specific biomarkers, and a clearly understood anthocyanin and melatonin mechanism. The evidence for tart cherries in osteoarthritis is comparable in quality to the evidence for boswellia and glucosamine. It is not as strong as the evidence for exercise and weight management, but it is genuinely clinical-grade evidence rather than laboratory or animal evidence extrapolated to humans. Blueberries have strong systemic anti-inflammatory evidence in older adults and mechanistically coherent effects on the NF-κB and oxidative stress pathways relevant to osteoarthritis, but fewer osteoarthritis-specific clinical trials than tart cherries. The population-level evidence is compelling. The osteoarthritis-specific trial evidence is growing. Kiwi fruit has the most directly documented sleep benefit of the 5 fruits, and the most clearly established vitamin C and collagen synthesis connection, with the osteoarthritis-specific extrapolation being biologically compelling and mechanistically consistent even where the osteoarthritis-specific trials are less numerous than the general anti-inflammatory literature would suggest. Pomegranate has the most mechanistically specific osteoarthritis-relevant evidence. The urolithin, a research directly documenting protection of human chondrocytes from MP-mediated degradation, is among the most directly relevant in vitro and ex vivo evidence in the fruit nutrition literature. The clinical trial evidence is more limited in size and number than for tart cherries, but the mechanistic specificity of the urolithin pathway to cartilage biology makes pomegranate one of the most scientifically justified dietary interventions for osteoarthritis specifically. Pineapple and bromelain have the strongest analgesic evidence, and the head-to-head comparison with diclofenac that is remarkable for a naturally occurring enzyme. The bromelain literature is more established than many people realize. It has been studied in clinical trials for osteoarthritis for over 2 decades, with consistent signals of benefit. This hierarchy is the honest scientific context for the 5-fruit protocol. It is not a protocol where each fruit has an identical, equally strong evidentiary foundation. It is a protocol where the cumulative evidence, clinical trials, mechanistic research, population studies, and biomarker data collectively justifies each inclusion for a specific and distinct reason, in the context of a nutritional intervention that is safe, affordable, and complementary to every other component of the osteoarthritis management program. The cumulative anti-inflammatory, cartilage supportive, sleep promoting, and gut microbiome supportive effects of the 5 fruits consumed together in the hour before bed, during the overnight repair window that arthritic joints depend on for their most productive daily maintenance period, is the complete scientific case for this protocol. Simple to implement, evidence supported at multiple biological levels, available to every adult with osteoarthritis starting tonight. Your joints are asking for exactly this, and now you know how to give it to them. If this video gave you a specific, evidence-based before bed fruit protocol for your osteoarthritis, please support this channel. Hit the like button right now. Subscribe if you have not already. Share this video with someone managing osteoarthritis who wants to know what they can eat tonight to support their joint health overnight. And leave a comment below. Tell us which of the 5 fruits you are going to try first, and whether you have noticed any connection between what you eat before bed and how your joints feel in the morning. We read every comment. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.